Welcome to Pera's Playbook. This is your host, Alex Pera. Let's open up our playbook and see who our guest is. Please enjoy. Welcome to episode 188 of Pera's Playbook. Today we're joined by Beth Cohen. She's a singer, musician. She's worked with Gibb and Boston, many other musical artists. She does voice coaching, and we're going to dive into all of that today. So we're happy to have Beth here. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, no complaints. It's sun is shining, and that's
Nice.
always a good thing, right?
Kind of here too. A little overcast, but it's okay.
Do you have windows in your studio or?
I do. This is not my studio. This is a,
Oh,
a little better version of my studio. But
okay.
yeah, so the light comes in this way, but behind me the window's closed, so it looks better.
Yeah, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Well, let's start going back to when you were younger. When did you get interested in music and what got you interested in music and singing and
Yeah, I've always done it. Like ever since I was little, I can remember being 5 years old and running around my house singing, "The sun will come out tomorrow." Because at that time Annie was big on Broadway, and I was going to be Annie, and it just it just escalated from there. I've always been singing. It's all I remember doing.
yeah. Did you have specific genres that you felt like you really liked more than others, or were you interested in just a lot of different stuff?
I think it was a lot of different stuff. I mean, ironically, like my mom played albums in the house and she had the Saturday Night Fever album, and I loved it, and I would play it, and it was a double thing where you could open it up and look inside, and I loved those songs, and just anything that was on the radio I loved, and I loved theater stuff, um, popular stuff. Yeah, I loved it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that there were any artists or groups that like you'd consider musical influences, that like influenced your own career throughout your journey?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hall and Oates were like my favorite group as a teenager. And I loved Billy Joel and I loved Whitney Houston. Um, yeah, those are the ones that stick out. Michael McDonald. I love Michael McDonald. Yeah, those are the ones that stick out in my mind growing up.
Yeah, no, that's all great stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's before your time, but still really good
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, yeah, I love all that music. Like now that it's summer, I'm in my yacht rock phase. I'm
Oh
so
yeah.
Michael McDonald that that fits into that yacht rock phase.
Yep, love that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's great just to relax and the sun is shining, maybe have a drink and listen to some yacht rock in the summer on the beach or whatever.
Completely. It's great. Yeah, no, it's great. And down here in Florida, like we get that pretty much every day. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. So at what point did you decide or maybe realize that like music was something you wanted to make your whole life? You wanted to make your career and you just wanted to do it every day and
probably in high school, like sophomore, junior year. I had a chorus teacher, Mr. Desiderio, who he was in a band, and I thought that was so cool, and I wanted to play in a band because I could make money that way, and I could make a lot more money than my friends that were working in the mall. And I said, "Oh, this is way better. I get to sing and make money doing that." And that was the start of it. So probably high school.
yeah, you get to have more fun too than working at
Oh
a
yeah,
department store in the mall.
totally. It's way more fun. I mean, I thought it was way more fun.
Yeah. Right. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of I've talked to other musicians or you hear stories from actors and they talk about, right, like I get to do this and I get paid, right? It's a
Yeah.
double bonus. Like I'm doing what I love and it's my job, right? No complaints.
No, totally. I think that's the best thing in the world if you can do something that you love and then someone gives you money for it. That's the greatest thing.
Right. Right. 'Cause there's so
Yeah.
many people who have bands and they just play for fun on the weekend
Uh-huh.
and right? You know, like they go to work every day and they do their job that maybe they hate, and then they go play in their band on the weekend.
Right, right. And then the weekend is like the best part about everything. So no, that's why I feel super lucky because this is my job, like,
Yeah,
7 days a week sometimes.
right, right.
Mm.
But if you love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work sometimes, right?
No, I love it. No, I love it. I love it all the time, every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, you've worked with, tons of different people, Boston and Barry Gibb. Let's start with those two. Which one came first, and how did you get connected with them?
Let's see. So technically, Boston came first, although it was sort of like a little bit of work and then a big space and then going on tour. So I met Tom Scholes way back in '97. I was working at a nightclub on Miami Beach called the Clevelander, and he came to Florida for vacation, and he saw me singing, and through all these ways got in touch with me, because in 1997 it wasn't like you find someone on the internet. So he got in touch with me, reached out to the club owner, who gave him the number of the booking agent that wouldn't give out my number, which is good. And he's like, okay, this guy Tom Scholes says he wants you to call him. So he gave me Tom Scholes' number, and I called him. And he's like, yeah, I'm Tom Scholes. I'm from this band Boston, and I saw you singing, and I wanted to know if you'd be interested in working together. And I was like, yeah. So we started working together way back then. I went up to Boston, and worked with him in his studio. We did some music of mine. I did some music of his. And we did that for a few months, and then I needed to come back down to Florida because my work was here, like my life was here. And at the time, he wasn't traveling on the road; he was just recording. So I came back to continue working here, and we kind of lost touch. And then years later, in 2014, he called me. He was losing, there was a girl in the band a few years prior, and she was no longer in the band, and he wanted to replace her with another female. And he called me, and he's like, yeah, are you available? And I was, because in the interim, I had hooked up with Barry Gibb and started touring with him. But that particular year, Barry wasn't doing anything, and so I was open. So I went out as a member of the band in 2015, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's, one of those things where you probably, I mean, when you were done recording with him, you probably thought like, God, this book is closed, right? See you later. And then all these years pass, and when you meet people in life, you never know where those doors are going to lead, and it might not lead to anything for years. Just like this scenario, where you just, you're living your life, and out of the blue, hey, do you want to come and be with Boston?
Yeah, I mean, really, if you think about it, it was almost 20 years later. And it was literally out of the blue. I was working in the studio, and somebody said, there's a message for you. Tom Scholes is looking for you. And I was like, really? That's crazy. Yeah, yeah, but it worked out. It was great. I mean, we went out for 3 years in a row. The touring was just amazing, and the music it just doesn't get any better than that. It was a great
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, Boston is they're up there in those giants of classic rock, right? You think of Boston and Foreigner and Journey and Styx and like all these bands, you think of them kind of in that elite legendary status of classic rock.
Crazy. Yeah, crazy. Elite is like the right word. It's just the most amazing stuff. And songs and music that just stands the test of time. Still, all of these years later, people love the songs, and it still sounds good. Those recordings still sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're used on the biggest stages still. Right? If you go to a professional sporting event, you still hear this music. Right? They're
Yeah.
using this classic rock to hype up crowds and to get
Yeah.
people energized and right that there tells you did something right.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is the songs. The songs were great. The recordings were great, and yeah, it was a thrill. It was just a thrill.
Do you have a favorite Boston song?
Oh my gosh, no one ever asked me that before. That's funny. Do I have a favorite? I don't. I don't know. I mean, there's so many of them that I love. I guess listening to different ones take me back to different places and bring up different memories. So I'm not sure if I have one specific favorite.
It's hard
Yeah.
because they have a lot of good songs. It's always hard to pick when a group's got so many. If you can narrow it down, you're like,
Yeah.
well, one day I like this one a lot, and then tomorrow I might like that one a little bit more.
Yeah. It kind of depends on what mood I'm in or what memory it brings back for me. So it's hard to pick out one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then Barry Gibb, that happened in between both Boston moments.
Right. So it happened. I mean, yeah, I guess it was in between. So I had come back from being in the city of Boston, went back to working here because I was kind of worked locally, did a lot of recording sessions, was teaching even back then, and then Barry Gibb was recording his anniversary album with Barbara Streisand because they did Guilty like way back when, and there was a I don't know, gosh, it was maybe the 25th anniversary of it, called Guilty Pleasures, and he was recording down in Miami Beach and he needed backgrounds. And so I was called in just to sing some backgrounds on a recording with him and Barbara Streisand. And I came in, did the recording with another vocalist, who's an amazing vocalist, Lisa Richards. And at the end of the recording, he was like, you know, I'm so happy with the sound of you gals. Would you like to come and do some live shows with me on the road? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And so that started some touring with Barry Gibb, and we did the Bee Gees stuff. And we did, I mean, we toured Australia, New Zealand, all over England, all over the States. Um, and that was, I mean, we did that for quite a few years. And that stuff, it was kind of crazy because that was all the disco music of the 70s. I mean, there's a lot of amazing Bee Gees stuff that's even earlier than that, but the stuff that they're super well known for was that. And so I kind of went from like, you know, gods of disco music to gods of rock and roll, total opposite. But loved them equally because again, Bee Gees stuff, like those songs are unbelievable.
Yeah. No, they've got some great music. My favorite Bee Gees song is "You Win Again." I feel like that one's not played as much on the
Wow,
radio. It's
no,
not, but
that's
I,
more sure.
yeah, I
For
really like that
you,
song.
that's awesome. I'm gonna tell Barry that. He'll be happy. Because he loves stuff like that. He's a really sweet guy.
Yeah, I was listening to on Sirius XM on the 80s on 8. They've got Rick's, I think it's Rick Springfield does his like he does like a theme every week
Oh,
and
how
he often
fun.
plays some like obscure um stuff, right? Some stuff that, kind of treasure chest 80s stuff, but it always fits a
Yeah.
theme. And I think I was listening to that one week whenever, this was a few years ago, and I remember him playing that, and I was like, I've never heard this Bee Gees song before, but yeah, this is really good. And then
That's amazing. Yeah, well, it's funny because the first tour that we did, the musical director gave me a list of the songs we were going to do, and I didn't know a handful that were on there. Their earlier career, like before the whole dance type music thing came out, they had an amazing career and amazing songs, and I wasn't really familiar with it, so I learned from scratch a bunch of their older songs for the tour.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
That was cool. It was really cool.
So, I mean, you mentioned touring the world. You've performed in front of thousands upon thousands of people in these huge stadiums all over the place. I mean,
Yeah.
is there like any one, or a couple concerts that stick out in your memory for the various reasons?
Yeah, for sure. Probably, I mean, one of the highlights of my life was doing the Glastonbury with Barry Gibb, and um it was 125,000 people. I mean, it was people as far as you could see. Like you just look out and it's just a sea of people. Um, that that was amazing. That was just amazing. And then there was we played the O2 in Dublin, and at one point Barry introduces me, and I come to the front of the stage from where the background singers are at the front of the stage, and he introduces me, and I sing "A Woman in Love," which he wrote for Barbara Streisand, and I did because it'd give him a break. He gets a little break in the show, and I sing, and everybody went crazy, and it was a standing ovation, and I just looked out, and it was me, like I wasn't a background person; it was me in the forefront, and that. Yeah, it was one of the the best moments of my life feeling that. So there's a few like that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Did you for like those big stadiums, I mean, did you get the jitters before, the nerves before you like step out on
No,
stage?
no, it's really interesting. People ask me that, and I don't. I get excited. I get revved up. I want everything to go smoothly and everything to be great, but I don't really get nervous. I just get really, really excited. I feel like that the stage and being in front of the big audience is my happy place. That's my true home. Uh, so it's all just excitement.
Yeah.
That's all I felt. I never really felt nervous.
Yeah, well,
No.
that's good, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. It's good. It's good.
because I know I've talked to some people who have done various things, and they'll be like,
Mhm.
"Yes, I'm nervous." Like I think I was talking to a guy. He was a kicker, for American football. Like on a Division I football team or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And he said, like, I'll be super nervous until I kick that first ball. Then I'm
And that,
calm. Like once I
yeah,
do it, I'm calm. I might be nervous like leading up to that, but then I calm
right.
down. But if you can just go
That's
into it not being nervous, then that's great.
yeah. No, no, not really nervous. More just excitement and amped up
The
and so
adrenaline
looking
going.
forward. Yeah, the adrenaline going, but never really nervous.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's a good skill. Like, 'cause I feel like that a lot of people, there's lots of people out there that have talent, but they're afraid to perform, or they're like people can't public speak, and they might have great ideas or great things they could share,
Yeah.
but they just get nervous. They have stage fright. So if you don't have that, it's a bonus.
Yeah, and when I teach my students, I have quite a few that have that stage fright, and we try to work through that because stage is the best place in the world, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think podcasting's a little bit different because it's not live, right? Like people are well, I guess some people do it live. Some people
Some
do
people,
live
right.
recordings on YouTube, but like for me, I record it and then post it later. So I don't you don't have that stage fright aspect. It's just you and whoever you're talking to,
Right.
and then you post it later. And maybe you think like, what are people thinking when they watch it? But it's not the same.
Yeah. No, no, and I try not to think that because it really I just feel like I'm having a conversation with you,
Yeah,
and when you're having a conversation with somebody, like, you're not really thinking, well, what are other people going to think of our conversation?
right.
Yeah, so that's kind of the way I think about it.
And I
Hopefully you
feel
think of
like,
that
yeah, well,
too.
yeah, that is like, I mean, I feel like if you're having a meaningful conversation, the conversation's flowing, that's what you're
Yeah,
concentrated on. And at the end of the day, who cares what other people think? Like with any performing, whatever you're doing, there's always going to be people that don't like it. You can't please everybody. If you're a
always.
musician, like you might be the best country singer out there, but there's going to be people that hate you because they hate country music. So like, there's nothing against your craft. They just don't vibe with that music. There's so many people out there that are just haters, right? I mean, like it doesn't matter. People always want to look for something negative, so you can't let that stuff bother you. You can't let it get to
No,
you.
no, and the thing is, ultimately, what I'm doing and what you're doing, like this is stuff that we love, and probably people are a little jealous that they're not doing something that they love, and that's where that nastiness and that hater vibe comes from. And whatever, like I'm sorry for you that you're sitting in such misery. I'm so
Right.
sorry. I don't have enough energy to be like hating on somebody. I don't know, like life's pretty good, so
Right. Well, and at the end of the day, you just make yourself miserable when you're that negative, right? Like, I mean, because most people avoid negative people. So it's like, I'm just going to avoid you. I'm not going to let you drag me down. So in the end, you're just dragging yourself down. Put that energy to something else. If you put that energy into trying to do something like us, podcasting, music, acting, whatever it is, you'd be better off using that energy towards a hobby or a skill or,
totally. But some people just aren't in that position, and you know that's
yeah.
that's causing a problem.
Right? Whatever floats your boat, man. If you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
be negative, I guess. I
exactly,
don't know.
exactly.
I'm gonna be happy. I'll be
Right,
happy.
see, that gets you. So yeah.
So, before we talk about voice coaching and other things, I was reading that you've worked with a bunch of other people doing different things. You worked with Pink. You mentioned Barbara Streisand. You've done stuff with Kelly Clarkson, Isaac Hayes. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, how do you get connected with all these people?
It's mostly word of mouth and the connections that I've made over the years. For example, working with Pink, I sang backgrounds. It's actually interesting. I sang a demo of a song that was being submitted to her by a very, very established songwriter, and he needed to have a singer sing the song. So I sang the demo and all the backgrounds, and when they submitted it to her, she loved it, and she used the song and just kept all my backgrounds. So that was sort of just like already working with someone who was connected to someone else. That's sort of what I do down here. Like a lot of people will call me for a session, or I know a lot of people that will call me for a background gig, and it's really connections, relationships, word of mouth. That's probably how I've gotten everything. Like someone knows that I'm around and they know what I do, and they give me the call.
Yeah.
And that's really how it is. But that established thing comes from like years of working in the business, and years of like showing up and doing a good job, and being pleasant to work with and all those things, so that people want to call. And that's how it happens. That's how it's happened for me.
Right. Well, I feel like that's pretty applicable to whatever you're doing. Like I remember being in college and then telling you, how important it is to network, make connections, meet people, even if it's like a job you're not qualified for, go shake their hand, tell them your name because
Right.
they might remember your name for some
Right.
reason, right? So like I feel like when we're young adults or teenagers, we think there's like that's stupid, that's not going to matter, but like it really is those little things, like you said, being a good person. Who wants to work with somebody who's just a jerk? Like nobody wants to. Nobody's going to call you. You might be the best at what you do, but if
No,
you're a jerk,
I talk about that in my vocal coaching classes. I talk about that all the time, because you can be really talented, and if you're kind of I have all these curse words coming into my head that if you're kind of a blah, or bitch, just no one's going to want to work with you. Like they won't call you. I'd rather call the person who is really great to work with, who's a good time to hang with, than someone who's maybe, a tiny bit more talented, but they're just awful to be around. I don't want to work with that person. Nobody wants to work with that person, so they won't get the call.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good advice. I mean, whatever you're doing in life, like you got to be pleasant.
Yeah,
And everybody has bad days,
yeah.
but that doesn't give you the right to just like I feel like sometimes you got to try to you're like I don't know if you're going to work like don't drag your bad day into work because then like people might not know you're having a bad day. They're just gonna think, hey, that guy's like a terrible person.
Yeah, no, and I think it applies anywhere. It applies in any kind of aspect of occupations. People People want to hire people that are pleasant to be around. I mean, good at what they do, but pleasant to be around. I think you
Yeah.
should, you know.
Well, and just like you said, they're gonna choose somebody who's qualified and a good person over like yeah, that person might be a little more qualified, but if they don't have that people person you have to be personable. This the modern day and age communication is such a hard thing. People like they can only communicate through text and all this
I
stuff. So
know.
like if you can communicate and you're a nice person, like that's gonna get you somewhere in life just on its own.
No, it's really true. So yeah, and I think that's why. I mean, I'd like to say that my talent has solidified my the continuation of my career, but I also think, I kind of show up and I try to be pleasant at work, and that helps.
Yeah,
It,
people remember that.
yeah,
If
yeah.
they think about all the different background singers they've worked with,
Hmm.
and they'll be like, "Oh, Beth, she was great to have. She had great energy. Like, let's bring her back."
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's what they say, and I kind of think that's it because even people will talk. We'll talk about things that are positive, and then we'll talk about, oh yeah, so and so was a negative vibe, and they're not going to get another call, so it happens.
Yeah, right. You don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to torture your career just because you're not not fun to be around.
No, I think people don't realize it. I've
Yeah,
worked with a couple vocalists that yeah, people don't want to call anymore because they're just really were unpleasant. And I don't know if they even realize it, you
yeah.
know. Realize it when they stop getting the calls, but
I feel like it is an oblivious thing for a lot of people. Like they just don't see it themselves. Like they don't hear it. Sometimes it's like, "What? Do you hear how you sound right now?" Like,
yeah, right,
and you just
right.
don't notice it. Everyone else around you notices it.
Totally. Yeah. So I try to be pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to be happy.
Well, let's talk voice coaching because you've mentioned, a few different things that, I guess they're not voice coaching things, but they're things that you tell people while you're coaching them up, like, hey, these are important things. But when did you start coaching? I guess let's start
Yes.
there.
So I've always kind of taught some lessons, even when I was really young, like still kind of in college, finishing college, because at that point in time it was like for a little bit of extra money, and um I liked it, and I found that I guess I was good at it. Like people gave me really good feedback and thanking me for learning this, and oh, no one ever explained it this way, and now I understand it so much better. So I guess I felt like I had a knack for it. And through the years, which was something that I guess I learned, there's not always a tour. Pardon me. There's not always, 365 days of touring. So I gotta work in between. Mama gotta make money. So when I was on the off of the road, I would come home and I'd teach some voice lessons, or work locally in the local restaurants and nightclubs and whatnot. And the teaching really seemed to be something that I enjoyed and they enjoyed. And then as I was home a little more and less on the road, the more you're home, the more the flow of teaching happens and more people know about it and it starts to increase. And then I would get called for a big coaching of a group, or started master classes for big groups of things like church worship teams and all of these different things. And I loved it. And it was something that I really, really enjoyed. And it can be lucrative because I've got students that fill up my days. I mean, now that I'm not touring right now, my days are filled just with students, private students, and I love it because I get to see students do do what they want to do. Like they're getting better at their craft, and they are able to start to work as a singer or start to audition for a band or the road or anything like that. And it really makes me feel good because I've always been able to make money doing what I love. And now I kind of show the next generation how to do it, how to how to get these gigs, how to look for background stuff, how to do this session work. Um, and it's nice. You know, I like it. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
It's very rewarding if you like if you're trying to teach somebody something to watch them pick up like what you're putting down or to see where they started and then to see where they
Oh
end up.
yeah. Yeah, when I see the progress of students and I've seen students that I started with and now their whole career is music. I've had students that have gone on to TV and movies. Uh, Kelsey Scarabo, who did Sharknado, you probably know that movie. She was a voice student when she was a teenage girl. Just I love seeing them grow and move on to their career. I mean, I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like key points that you always, like these are my core things that I teach no matter what?
I think it depends. I mean, there are like when you're talking about technique and just being able to sing, like I usually have to make sure students breathing well. Breathing is like the basics of it. What they're doing with their mouths. Are they open enough? Are they making the sound in a healthy way so that they don't lose their voice? Because what the different thing about my teaching is I always kind of focus it on you're learning to sing so that you can do something with it. Like you're going to audition for this show, or you're going to do this gig, or you're going to be an artist and you're doing recordings. It's not just learn to sing because yay, it's so fun. No, let's do something with it. But those are some of the basics. Like if you're not breathing, you're not going to get anywhere. If you're not opening your mouth, you're not going to get anywhere. So yeah, I do some of those, depending on how much a person needs.
Yeah. Do you talk about how to I mean, you kind of mentioned what to do not to like destroy your voice, but like how to maintain your vocal cords. Because I mean, obviously, if you're a singer, that's your instrument. You wouldn't take your guitar and just smash it off the ground, right?
Right, you wouldn't leave your guitar in the rain. You wouldn't leave your guitar
Yeah,
baking in the sun. So yeah, you're not going to take your voice and abuse it with drugs and alcohol the night before and then try to sing. You're not going to scream on roller coasters at Disney for, 3 days in a row and then try to sing. It's simple stuff, but yeah, you have to take care of it because it is your only instrument. Like we don't get to go to Guitar Center and buy another one. That's
yeah,
it. We get one.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's funny. Wait.
no, it's true though, because like you think about it, like this is it. So we have to take care of it. And unfortunately, it comes with us wherever we go, no matter what we do. So it's something sometimes I kind of have to introduce that concept to students. But
Right, yeah, because you can just buy more instruments. You can get new drums, you can get
yeah,
new
right.
guitars, whatever.
Yeah.
Like what is it? Is it the Who? I think like old videos of the Who, they would smash their guitar, like and then you can just go get a new one.
Hurts me.
Like you can't do that with your
Oh,
voice.
you can't do it with your voice. And honestly, if you do and you rag it out, it affects your work and your ability to work, and then your ability to make income.
Yeah,
So a lot of my teaching is has got to do with that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean all of these jobs, professional athletes, singers, all these jobs where your body is your career, you have to take such good care of. I mean, you can be in poor health and you can show up to the office and sit at your computer and do whatever job you're doing, but if your health isn't great, how are you going to play football? How are you going to sing? How are you going to do whatever?
Exactly. That's exactly it. And even in the world of musicians, vocalists compared to an instrumentalist. You got a cold or you ragged out your voice or whatever, drank too much, smoked too much, whatever. You could still play your guitar. Your fingers are working. That instrument is working. But as a vocalist, it it's affected and possibly not going to be able to do what it needs to do. So it's a
Yeah.
thing for us singers. I mean, it's worth a small sacrifice and totally worth it.
I feel
Yeah.
like you see quite often too, where I mean, groups, bands, and stuff, they'll have to maybe cancel a couple tour dates because they need vocal rest, and I feel like people get all pissed off. Oh, what the heck, right? You know, I'm paid for blah 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 blah. But I don't. You can't risk your entire career just to play two
Oh,
more shows, or
no, and and stuff happens. I mean, it's a part of our bodies. Stuff happens.
if you
So
get sick and you can't help. I mean, nobody picks to get sick. Nobody's
no,
choosing. To,
choosing. Yeah, no, nobody's choosing to get sick, and it sucks because there's definitely been times where I had to cancel a gig because I was like so sick I lost my voice, um, and then I'm losing money, so
right. Yeah.
I had
Right,
to.
yeah. It's not like when you're playing and you're getting paid to play, you're not going to cancel if you don't have to. You know?
Oh no, and I've done plenty of gigs like really sick, you know, but you got to do it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to power through. I
You got
mean,
to power through if you
you
can.
know, whatever you're doing, I mean,
Ah, yeah, it's kind of
I,
true.
I went to school for forestry, and there was one day once I graduated, I was working. And we had to drive like a few hours to go do this timber sale, and we had to be marking timber so then the loggers could come in and cut it. And but our boss said like you can only go if everyone can go. It's not worth it to drive everybody down there if only one or two people go. Like it's an all or nothing thing. And I woke up that morning and I was like, I feel like crap. I have 100 and whatever fever. Like, but I don't want to call my boss and just be like, it's 4 in the morning. Like I can't go. I'm sick. So
Right.
I went. I
You
went
went.
down there and it sucked, but I powered through because I didn't want to be that one guy that held everybody up and we got to reschedule and we can't go now and we
No,
just
no,
do it and
you gotta man up and do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I survived, right? I'm still here today. It
Right.
might have sucked in the moment, but
Hopefully you didn't
whatever.
make everybody else sick.
I don't, one person might have got sick, but not everybody got sick.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
I did my best to like, roll the window down and cough out the window or something. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
don't touch me, stay away from
Don't
me.
touch me, right?
Right? I'll just do my work and just leave me be.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta do it. It's true.
yeah. So why don't we end on this question? Maybe it's an easy answer, maybe it's not. But what do you enjoy more, voice coaching or like performing yourself on stage?
Oh my gosh. It's it's so different. The voice coaching is a different kind of satisfaction for me. I love it so much because it really is an amazing feeling to see somebody else, the light bulb go off in their head and be able to do what they want to do the way I was. So it's a really special satisfaction. It's like a giving back kind of a thing. But being on stage and feeling the adoration and singing and the song flowing through my body out to the audience is the ultimate good feeling. Like there's in my life, there's just nothing better than that. Yeah, it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Makes me yeah. Yeah,
Do you
it's
have any tours or any performances or anything you're doing, in the near future? Or?
so right now, there's always hopes for another Boston tour. I speak occasionally to Gary Peel, who is our lead guitar player along with Tom, and we just kind of talk about, could it happen? It's so we always have hopes for that. The other biggest thing in the works for me is that I put out a course, and it's called Get the Gig, and it's for purchase online, and it teaches people how to get into the music business as a singer and how to get a gig, how to put repertoire together, how to get their voice in shape so that they can make money as a singer. And that's, that's part of what makes me so happy, like I said, with the teaching, is because to help somebody start making money themselves is the best thing in the world. And I think the course is set up really, really well for anyone who's thinking, I'm good enough and I would like to get a job as a singer and start working in the industry. This course is the course that teaches you how to do it. So, and that's available on my website, which is southfloridavoicestudios.com. You just go on there, the Get the Gig course comes at the very top in a banner. And but those are the biggest things that I have going on right now, and hopefully something, the call for the tour comes any day now, and I head back out again.
Yeah, I'm sure there would be no problem selling tickets if they decided to do it. I feel like the fans are always kind of clamoring and waiting for these things and just hoping that everything. I mean, there's so many pieces that have to fit together, but if it fits together, I'm sure it would be just a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah,
success.
we're always hoping, we're always hoping. It really depends on what Tom Scholes is feeling in the moment, if he's ready to go out again. So we all have our fingers crossed.
Right. And it's got to be hard if you do that for your whole life. Like, do you keep going or do you want to just kind of relax now? And
Right.
it's what are you feeling? Some people
Exactly.
want to perform forever. Other people are like, well, I've done this for 50 years now. I just want to chill out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's hope that he's ready to
He's
do
got a
it.
little left in him.
Got a little left in. He's hoping. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Beth, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, and good luck to you. Hope it goes well.
Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more episodes soon.